Hey everybody, it's Under My Cap and welcome back to another video where today I'm going to be showing you how to actually execute a command with a scoreboard. Now you're probably thinking, how do you do that? And it's a really cool command and I can see it being really useful for a lot of things. So let's say you wanted to test how many times you've killed something or how many times you've died, and then once you got to 10 of that, you wanted to make it play a noise or make a reset or something, you can do that with this command and it's really cool. Basically, I'm going to split this video into two sections. So the first section is going to be setting up the scoreboard, which you will require for this. If you've already watched my scoreboard video, you can just skip that part because it's just setting up a normal scoreboard. And we're going to be testing a dummy scoreboard, so you might want to set one of those up if you're doing that. And then the second bit is going to just be me talking on showing you how to execute commands with the scoreboard. So first segments you can skip if you've already done, and yeah, the second bit's the actual main bit. Now I'm going to quickly set up the scoreboard just because I've done a whole video on this, and if you haven't done it already or watched the video, just go into the description down below and I'll put the video there. But basically we're going to want to create one, so let's go into scoreboard. We want to add an objective and we're just going to call this test. We're going to make it a dummy one because dummies mean that you can basically alter the set data, and it doesn't get altered by like death or air or any of those other things. Now as you can see, the scoreboard doesn't actually show up here, and as I do in my video or as I show it, basically you just want to type in scoreboard again, except this time you want to type in objectives and set display and then sidebar test, and now it's showing. So if I did add anything, so let's add my player right now. So add. So what you want to do is you want to type in scoreboard players add, and then add at A, and then you want to set the score. So for now we'll just set it to 5, and as you can see the score is now set to 5, and you can see it in the middle right side of the screen. So now that we've got that done, we can get on to part 2. So for part 2, you're going to need a command block, and as I show in a lot of other videos, I'll just show it as well. You want to get a command block by simply typing /give @s, which is yourself, command block. And then once you do that, we want to set the execute command up. So basically, with this execute command, you want to execute it as someone. So you want to execute it as the player or as the entity. And to do that, what you want to do is you want to type in /execute as and @a. Now, if we just did the normal execute command with the scoreboard thing here, it will execute it to everyone. So we want to make sure that we're executing it to every single player, or sorry, not every single player. We want to make sure that we're executing it to the exact player on the list. So as you can see, execute as @a, to execute @a, run execute @s, or execute @s if. So after you do this, then you want to do the score bit. So as you can see, score pops up, score @s test. So as you can see here, we've done the execute command as @a, run execute as @s if score @s test. Now that may sound like a whole bunch of gibberish, but it's simply saying that this is going to execute at everyone, but it's also going to execute the command, or a separate command, at everyone, which is at yourself. So a command that goes to everyone, but it only does a command for that person, and then it does a query or a test. So if score @s test is, or if it matches, let's say 5 or above, the two little dots at the end of number 5 indicate that it's 5 or more, and if you did 2 dots at the back, it means that it's less than 5 or 5. And if you did want to do a range, you could simply just do 2 dots and then another number. So if the test is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, it will execute this command. For now, I'm just going to leave it at this. So if it's higher than 5, it will execute this command. And then we want to make it so that we run a command. So run execute at s, so we're executing at ourselves. And then let's make it so that we get a particle effect. So as you can see, I'll go at s, run particle, and then we'll do the whole particle command. Now, if you do want to learn more about the particle command, I'll leave the video in the description below as well. I've done a whole bunch of videos on particle command. Yes, so you can go check that out and familiarize yourself with it. But for now, I'll just continue going a little bit faster. Let's do flame, 3 titles, 3 zeros. We'll do that and a count of 10 and at A. So as you can see, if I put this on, we will get a cool particle effect because you can see that test is equal to 5, or it's not higher than 5, but it is 5. So we get this cool particle effect. Now, as you can see, if I did change my score by another one, so if I did that, you can see it has changed it and it still keeps on going. But if I did take away more, but if I did set my score to, let's say, less than 5, you'll notice the particles disappear. So this is the first bit of the command, and I'm going to show you a whole bunch of other ones. This command is a bit tricky, so I'm going to try and make a little section underneath, but I'll just go through it again. So it's execute as at A, so execute as everyone, run execute at S, so it's going to execute a command at everyone, but the command is specific to one player or yourself. Then it's going to test if your score, and then it's going to like say yourself, your score test. Now this name test will change depending on what your variable is, or your scoreboard name. So if my name was, let's say, health or kills, obviously test would change to health or kills. Test matches. So matches means, is the query we're asking, so the player's score, equal to a certain number? And as I said before, the dots mean higher than 5 and 5, or lower than 5 and 5 if it's on this side. Then we go to run execute at S, and then we do another particle of, then we go another run for player, and then you can type in whatever command you want to do. So if I wanted to play a sound, or if I wanted to make it kill the player, you can put that there. Now I'm going to simply copy and paste this command block just so I don't have to type out the whole thing again. If you actually didn't know how to do this, it's really simple. All you have to do is get your block picking button. So as you can see, I can pick blocks like this. You want to hold Control and pick the block. And as you can see, I've now kept that block, and it has all of its contents in it, which is really cool. So let's say you want to make it so that when you reach 5, you get the particle command, or you get the particle effect, but you also want it to clear your score. Well, what you can do is you can go back to the command we just wrote and just get rid of all of the particle command ones. So, and then basically you're going to change it to the scoreboard command. So we'll go slash, or not slash, scoreboard, players set at S test 0. So as you can see, our test is set to 4, but if we did want to change it to 5, you'll notice it gets set back to 0. So we also did get the particle effect for a little bit of time, so if I'm lucky enough and I do that again, you'll see that my particle shows up. Now, what if you wanted to make it so that there was a way you could actually change the score, or make it without actually having to input data? Well, we can do that very simply with the next execute command. So this command here, which I'm about to do, will alter your score. So let's say we wanted to make it so that if we stood on stone, let's say if we stood on stone, our score will go up by 1 every second, let's say. So what we want to do is we'll want to go into the command block, type in /execute, and also I just forgot to mention this, if you want to learn a whole bunch more on the execute command, I've done a whole bunch of videos for Bedrock and Java about how to use the execute command. So if you want to go into a little more depth with how to use this and make it a little more senseful, if that's a word, I don't know if that's a word. Anyway, it's a new word now. You can do that. But yeah, so let's get back to this. So execute at A, run execute at S, run. Sorry, we don't want to run. We want to test if the block underneath us, which is this, is stone. So basically the command I just did here is testing if the block underneath the player, which is the -1, is equal to stone. And if it is, then we want to do run scoreboard players, then we go add at s test 1. And that's basically how you do that. Now, obviously, I don't know how to do like a tick clock or anything, so I'm just going to set up a normal thing that I would usually use. If you do know another way, please comment it in the description below, because I'm still trying to learn how to do that. It could be as simple as setting a whole scoreboard time clock thing. But as you can see here, if I stand on the block, there we are. So basically what I just fixed up there, sorry if I stuffed you up, I accidentally did at, you want to change that to as, so that the command block is executing it as everyone. But as you can see, my score is going up, and then when I hit 5, I get a cool little particle. Now I'm going to change the particle to something a little bit bigger. If you do want to learn more, as I said before, you can go and check out my particle video. If I stand on the block now, you notice when I hit 5, I get a lot of particles. So this can be used with anything, as I said before. You can check out all the commands in my YouTube channel that you can put into this command, but it's really useful, really cool to use, and yeah, that's basically it. So if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This video, if you don't believe it, actually took me a very long time to make. I probably spent about an hour trying to record this before, but because it's just so hot, it's really hard to focus. So if this video does make it out, I just want to say that yeah, it did take a long time. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe and check out my socials in the description below. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video. See ya!